We want to embrace their objections, but I can't stress it enough. We want as few objections as possible. And we do that by following a sales price process.
Well, we have to believe in our own product and what we're selling.
So in that moment, do you want the cheapest insurance on the worst day of your life, or do you want the best insurance that's going to protect your family? We have all 4 people here today on our blog Banter, which is crazy because usually I'm the bust out with the schedule who can't make any of these. So this is exciting. Stephen and I are sharing a hotel room together in Warwick. Both of our spouses approve. He's not really my cup of tea and I'm not his.
No, I like tequila more than tea. Or vodka. Ooh, vodka.
Coming soon.
Coming soon.
So we are gathered here today to talk about top 6 sales objections and how to get them out of our lives.
Oh, and we've got the master black belt.
Butter.
Yeah, it's like the way it's funny you guys do that because it's like we don't ever do this.
I do my ninja chops all the time. Not like Teresa. Yeah, Teresa does.
She's not like
There's a 10
Because them for real. I do them like Ninja Turtle style. I'm not quite as.
look at Don.
And I have bruises to prove that it works.
This is what I don't know.
So obviously in sales, sometimes you get objections. And I think, first of all, if you follow her sales process, which I hope you do, which you can get our sales training with one of these lovely humans on Zoom in person where they can breathe on you and have dinner with you, which during COVID times, it was weird to breathe on people, but we're hopefully migrating out of that. Or in our online school. So the whole goal of a sales process is you get to this point, you should have as minimum objections as possible because you followed your process. However, if you didn't follow a process, you're going to open yourself up to more objections, number 1. And number 2, even the best salespeople will get objections. I was always taught that objections is kind of the wrong word because it seems like I must refute them. And like you're in the Matrix dodging bullets and trying to get people to do their thing. But probably the better way to look at it is embracing their concerns. If we use more maybe objections is discriminatory now. Maybe we're hating on objections. We're not very inclusive in the sales process to objections. So maybe embracing our concerns is a gentler way of saying objections.
We're embracing them.
We're loving their objections. We're going to say, hey, I understand making a decision on your agent is hard. Let's figure this out. So we want to embrace their objections, but I can't stress it enough. We want as few objections as possible. And we do that by following a sales price process. Right, Bobby?
Absolutely.
So when we get here, we're going to go through the top 6 objections that we get. And I would love everybody on here to give their favorite objection. I'm going to start because then we'll get through 4 of them. So we'll need to identify 2 more. But my favorite objection to overcome is, well, thank you. I need to talk to my spouse and or business partner. And I have so many feelings on this one because if you've done your job as a sales professional, you've found out that they need to talk to their spouse up front. So when it comes here, you can be like, oh, I'm sorry. I would have had them on this meeting had I known. We said that I think you were going to make that final decision. Oh, but I got to run it by them. Then, yellow flag. We have a problem, Houston. This sale is in jeopardy and they're trying to be too polite. But really deep down in my head, I'm thinking, if I'm saving you all this money and improving your coverage, do you really have to talk to your spouse? Now, some people do. I would just come home and say, honey, I saved this money on our insurance. Thank you. I bought shoes.
But shoes for both things.
And we need to make sure that we say, I understand. I like to get my spouse involved as well. But let me get the information that I need now. And then I can set an appointment to speak to both of you at the same time and we can review it.
Yeah, absolutely. If we get it up front, that is the name of the game. If we get it at the back end after they've said, no, I'm the decision maker, now we have to go through that. So a couple ways I like to refute this one. One is, oh, excellent. I also like to review these with my spouse. Are they available right now? Maybe we could conference call them in.
Ooh, or we could say, I know they might have questions you might not be able to answer. Why don't we schedule a time that I can be your wingman?
Ooh,
that's a good one.
You still sound great.
Or I like to also say, would you like me to send, they say no, would you like me to send a video proposal? And then you could watch it and you can see if they actually watched it. Cause then you'll know, was this really the spouse or was this just really one of those blow off scenarios that we need to focus on, right? But the final part, if you really, they're going to giving you every objection under the sun to talking to the spouse. I do like this one. Although I think it takes a little practice to say is, I'd be like, okay, Therese, no problem. May I ask, when you speak to your husband tonight, will you be recommending that we move forward with the quote? Because I want their buy-in. I want them to go to their spouse and be like, honey, we should do this. Then I should expect the application the next day.
And I
if it-
noticed that Kelly paused.
Yes.
Silence.
And that one will be a hard one for them to answer too. So they're going to have to think about it.
But they might cough up and be like, well, I'm actually waiting on their quote. Like you might cough up that other real objection. And that's kind of what we're trying to do is get around those key objections in a way that makes sense. Because a lot of objections you're going to get are blow-offs and people are too polite to tell you no. I'd rather you hear no. I'd rather Therese come back and be like, actually, Kelly, your price is $250 higher than what I got. I thought you were great, but I have to make a decision for my family. Oh, Therese, no problem. And then we can go into the other objection killers, which I don't want to wreck anybody's jam here. So I'm not going to give any other objections. I said one, but that is my favorite is a spouse. I'm going to go to my hotel mate here today, Stephen.
I was going to volunteer Bobby as tribute.
Oh, are we Hunger Games of weird Hunger Games fails objections?
Let me just say my lesson 10 had most of them in it. So I kind of know a lot of them. So if you want to come to me last, I'll accept it.
I want to go next because she's the newer one, and I want to give her plenty of opportunity to share all of her thoughts first.
Well, I like the one that Kelly mentioned where we're waiting on other quotes from other agents. I'm waiting on another quote from another agent, but how come we didn't realize that? How come we didn't realize we had competition in the beginning of the sales process?
Right. We should ask the question, right? How many other agents have you contacted? And that's a big one. And then, so how should we overcome this wonderful? Okay. I think Stephen would like to speak.
I'm very passionate about this one as well, because I think that what we could do is say, especially if we were amazing and we quoted over the phone, like I hope we all do, we could say, well, how long are you expected to wait for those quotes? And when did you request that? And then we put time on the table. Like, do you also expect that sort of delay in getting an answer to a question or having a claim be handled? I was able to solve this while you were on the phone. Don't you think we should move ahead?
Yeah.
Very nice.
Great way
I
to
also-
establish your value, Stephen.
Who else wants to wait along and just not make a decision? You know, it's like, well, and harp on the fact of how many companies you've shopped, right? Like, I have done this for you. They're not going to come back with anything better. Or I could take this off your list of things to do right now.
When she was rather this was done.
Which I could use a few things off of my list to do. So
Preach. Now it's between Therese and Stephen, your favorite.
Okay, I'll go since Therese wrote the article about it
Okay.
previously. Another one I love is, I've been with my other agent for 12 years, and I think I'm just going to stay there.
Then why the F did you get a quote?
Well, I was just trying to keep them honest.
That's not the objection that you want to.
I was just trying to keep my agent honest.
Oh.
yeah, because it's my brother-in-law.
And
I don't think that he's that honest. He's not, bro.
Yeah, I don't enjoy going to Christmas with him or having our insurance there, but
But I think that one of the things, if we would have asked the question up front, well, has you shopping for insurance today? And if we said price and we said, other than price, what's important to you or what has you shopping? What are you looking for? We can readdress that and be like, well, at the beginning of our call, you said your agent was non-responsive or your agent, never reached out or your agent just kept raising your rates and you didn't know why. So why would you want to stay there if I can provide a solution for you today?
yeah, I totally agree with that statement. I also think you have to ask up front, how are you going to make your final decision in selecting your agent? Well, I'm going to give my other agent one last shot with your quotes. Are you now? And don't forget, like the other agent might have the same companies as you. So you quote it and then they go ahead and take that quote and go place it with that company. And you just told another agent how to save their customer. We don't like that.
No.
No. How about Therese, number 4?
I don't have time right now. Can you just send it to me? You just email it to me.
That's that one.
We have a salty face.
Or let me think about it.
Yeah. Let me think about is probably my, like the one that's like, you're not going to think about it though after you hang up the phone. You're literally going to erase this from your memory. And like, I like to think, are you really going to go home with a glass of wine and put it out on your dining room table, page over page, and highlight it? And like 1% of the population will. 99% won't think about it again. They just want to delay decision making. So Therese, what's your recommendation on how we overcome this one?
I think we just need to say, while you have me on the phone, let's talk through your objections to it. I can help you think about it, and I can help you think through it and come up with any answers to any concerns you may have. So let me use my insurance license to help you work through what it is you're questioning.
Mm-hmm. And I also love the idea of saying like, oh, I know insurance is confusing. Is there anything that is really troubling you about the quote that I can help explain? You know,
Yeah, I think that's a great point. And I think, when we get to that point, if we still are having objections, did we really do our job at the beginning? We didn't really build the rapport in the relationship if we're still getting those objections.
I think we also assume everybody's just like pouring us out for quotes, right? Like, oh, well, they're just getting a bunch of quotes. So we'll just throw the spaghetti against the wall and see what sticks. Where I sort of feel like the opposite of, if you do your job, like you should be sticking out from the crowd and not just being like, okay, well, think about it and let me know.
If I never had to practice quoting again ever in my life, I would be thrilled.
You won't practice binding.
I want to practice binding.
Binding.
I want to practice issuing. I want to practice processing credit cards for down payment. I don't want to practice the quote.
Have to do the quote to get to practice my binding.
I know. Why don't I said get the quote done so I can get to the fun part, so I get to practice.
Get her done.
Get her done.
Get her done.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. Get her done.
Can we talk about price?
Your price is too high. Or
Yeah.
I love that one, especially because there's a lot of companies right now that might be not running MVRs, not quoting up to RCE standards.
There's not a whole lot of front end underwriting happening.
Well, and people forget about that 30-day look back period that those companies have. And I used to mention those companies and say, hey, they have a 30-day period where they can change your rate. And you have no idea what it's going to go to because they didn't run your motor vehicle report or they didn't run those claim reports. So within 30 days, they can change that.
Yep. And I think too, like it's the inspections, it's the this, it's the that, but the price scenario is intriguing to me, Stephen. So tell me, for objection number 5, how do we overcome price?
Well, I think we have to provide a good value and really understand what the client needs to begin with. And we have to uncover what they do or don't know about insurance and what their passions are in life. If you tell me that if I go lose my new Gucci bag, there's not going to be any coverage, I'm going to have an issue. But if you tell me you can solve that problem, I might pay attention a little bit more.
Yes. I also think with price too, you can always be the cheapest or you can be the best. And so I always like to harp on the fact like, hey, insurance is all about the value that you perceive. There's no such thing as two of the same insurance policies unless they're with the same exact company. What we want is put you with the best company, something within your family's budget, but is there on the worst day of your life. So in that moment, do you want the cheapest insurance on the worst day of your life, or do you want the best insurance that's going to protect your family?
I think too, we have to believe that we're worth it.
Heck yeah.
Like I would close accounts all day that were $250, $500, even $1,000 more than what they were currently paying because I believed in the protection or what I was providing, even if it was similar to what they already had. Because overall, I knew I was going to take care of them. I was going to look out. I'd ask the questions to make me confident in what I was selling. And there was times I'd say like, am I not worth $100 more a month for you to receive this experience?
Well, we have to believe in our own product and what we're selling. You guys all know how important umbrella policies are. I had a friend who fostered a teenager. The teenager got her license and she just had a home and an auto with, not minimum limits, but lower limits. And unfortunately, that person hit a pedestrian and killed the pedestrian and she lost everything she owned. So that I believe in an umbrella policy. I had 2 teenagers at a time and, in the house at the same time. And I was like, I got an umbrella policy. And they think they're expensive, but they really aren't. I think mine's only like $30 a month. And I've got
it's so amazing to me. I think Rhode Island has the highest umbrella policies. Like you go someplace, it's like $180 a year. I'm like, what? My renter's policy was like more than that when I was renting.
Cents a day. You too could have an umbrella.
Mine was like $380, one of $1 million. I think we're up to like 7 something at 2. But I'm just like, I want the $180 umbrella. I've been keeping. I got to move someplace like less expensive, right? Like we got to go to, where were we just, Bobby?
Oh, in Kentucky.
What was the other location where like the burbs there?
Gosh.
Anyway, there's a town and there. I was like, the average like starter home is like $150, and I was like,
Yeah.
What's like 4?
it's like, you're not getting a starter home in Rhode Island for under $350 right now. I'm like, so yeah, I could get
Mine was
2.5
like 400 for a starter.
2.5 houses.
I got mine at 165, and now I could probably sell it for about 4. It's only
Yeah, it's
1,600
crazy.
square feet.
But there are some places still in America where you can get these. Like, I'm going to retire in one of those small towns and become like the richest person in town. I'll build my own restaurant. I'll do whatever. It'd be great. The final objection that we need to conquer.
Bum, bum, bum.
I'm going to say this: being ghosted, which is a common objection today that I think we all don't get.
You're back.
We don't get fired up enough about this. My friends that are out there dating get fired up when they get ghosted. We get ghosted all the time. We have the person's social security number. We have their address. We have license. We have tax ID numbers. We have literally everything we need to completely rip them off, and people don't call us back. I'm like, just because you met somebody on Tinder, you didn't even know their real last name, and you're madder than we get in insurance. The ghosted thing to me is cray-cray, and I think there's a couple ways to overcome being ghosted. One, you got to build that relationship up front. If you transacted, you got a transactional response when they didn't want to buy. 2, I think the other thing is we can't be emailing quotes. They look at something after, unless you presented it, and if they don't like the price, I decide, heck no, I'm not calling Steven ever again. I did not like his price. He's now dead to me. I've forgotten him. And step 3 is I think it's okay to just ask for a no. At the end, just simply say, hey, I can sense that, maybe there's a little trepidation in moving forward. Can I just ask, like, if you're not interested, it's okay to tell me and I'll just close your file. We can try again next year, or, just respond back to me, either email or text, and let me know. Now, this gives you the opportunity to try to save it, because when you're being ghosted, there's no save. I can't be like, well, that quote doesn't have this, or this quote doesn't have this. I think a big objection we're getting is just being flat ghosted. And I think that should really make insurance agents mad. Not like, oh, one less thing to do. It's like, no, you spent a lot of time on it. You have their information. You need to ask for that no so you can move on to your next sale.
Or you get to follow up, breakup.
Yeah, I grew up Catholic. So, right. So like we had like penance, and like you had to go to confession and stuff like that. And you would all go as a group. And then it was the funniest thing. Like I'd get out of confession and they give you your little, like, you had to say 3 Hail Marys and stuff like that. And I always go to my friend, what'd you get? And lo and behold, the priest gave out the same thing to everybody. It was not the severity of that I punched my brother. It was not my potty mouth. And it was like literally everybody got the same. And I'm like, okay, but my penance for not having to go ahead and make 6 follow-up calls was just to ask for the no and end it. So you have to think, what's worse, 6 follow-up calls, because that's the norm. You're going to learn that under sales training if you take it. Or, lo and behold, I just got to be a bold person and just say, can you please let me know so I can close your file? Like right now.
And that's actually spark them to buy.
Yeah, they might
Once
say,
they close their file.
oh, nobody wants you to close that file, or fictitious fake file, because hopefully none of our listeners have paper files, right, everybody? They exist. They're out
If you
there.
ever decide to have a bonfire at your agency with all those paper files, give me a call. I might just show up and toast the marshmallow.
But we're going to close the file in our head. One less internet tab open, right?
Philosophical file.
That's right. Guys, sales training, your team needs it. They need not just a quoting process, but a sales process. So here's what we got. We got our online school that has commercial sales training, inbound sales training, cross-selling training, right?
Wow, service.
Wow, service. You can go work with one of these lovely faces, either on Zoom for 6 months or in person, and have them come to your office and get your sales team lit up. But if you don't have a sales culture, first step is actually having sales meetings and doing this horrible thing called Role play. Ooh, everybody's least favorite thing to do, yet highly beneficial. It's the burpees of sales. All right, we've got to let all these wonderful people go back to their desks, but check us out. Make sure you go to head to our blog. We have our producer plan that you can download. We also have some discounts, etc., to some of our sales courses. So check us out. And with that, we'll let everybody go. Thanks, everybody.
Have a good one.